Now that it's been some time since Samurai Jack Season 5 Episode 1 aired, I think it's time I dive into something that I noticed for the first episode of Samurai Jack's return. And I feel like many might have missed what Episode 1 of Season 5 actually did. And in all honesty, it actually makes sense why many would miss some of the symbolism and parallels of the first episode of Samurai Jack's return, because it's been over a decade since Samurai Jack had new content. And if you haven't been rewatching the series and you just dive straight headfirst into Season 5 without rewatching anything from the previous seasons of Samurai Jack, obviously some of the symbolism and parallels would fly straight over your head when you're watching Season 5 Episode 1. And so today, I'm here to kind of remind you of some of the things that have happened in the previous episodes of Samurai Jack, but also show the parallels that Season 5 had with Season 1 of Samurai Jack. So, to get right into it, Samurai Jack Season 1, Episode 1, pretty much is almost exactly similar to Samurai Jack Season 5 Episode 1, which it's very fitting when you think about it, because what better way to acknowledge the fan base of a series, and also acknowledge your previous work, your previous writing, but also show how much you have matured as a writer, than to nod at your first time making an episode of Samurai Jack. And when you look at Samurai Jack Season 1 Episode 1, and when you look at the latest episode, Samurai Jack Season 5 Episode 1, you see so many correlations and parallels. So let me do a brief summary of Season 5 Episode 1 and then Season 1 Episode 1. So Season 5 Episode 1, 50-year time skip, Jack no longer ages. He is someone that everybody in this world, they're trying to hunt down and kill. But on top of that, you have it to where there are these group of daughters, the daughters of Aku, 7 of them, that were born from this high priestess. These 7 daughters were raised from little babies as little kids, and they were raised to be assassins, a part of this cult to take down Jack. Now, because of this, the way the episode was structured, it was a very dark outlook, because you see how these children didn't have a really good life. They didn't have a good childhood. They were forced to constantly think for themselves, think about, to take down Jack. They weren't, caring about each other. They were not concerned for each other's well-being. They were more concerned with being strong and being able to continue pressing forward, and they were never able to really even leave the place they were in. They were never really able to go outside. They were isolated and stuck inside of this training facility until they came of age to where they can don these masks and hunt down the samurai, which is Jack. Now, that is kind of like a brief summary, besides skipping the fight Jack had, but that's kind of like a brief summary of the episode. Now, in Samurai Jack Season 1 Episode 1, we get the origin of Aku. Aku, he pops up. He's the great evil. He has reawakened, and he is here after some time of being sealed. He is here to reign terror once again. And we see Jack as a boy with his father, his family, and everybody, his entire village. He's just being raised, he's being taught, and eventually his father tells him about Aku, his destiny, and stuff like that. And over time, eventually Aku makes his way there, and he kills everyone in the village, or at the very least captures them and turns them into his slaves. And once he's done with that, Jack is sent off. He's sent off by his family to train for many, many years. And you see a young boy going from place to place, destination to destination, all around the world to learn many different types of training, martial arts, and how to read, write, everything. He learned so much in his childhood to be able to face the great evil that is Aku. Now, once again, you most likely already can see the parallels of Season 1, Episode 1 and Season 5, Episode 1. Daughters of Aku getting training to face Jack. Jack getting training from everyone to face Aku. Now, let's look at the way the timelines are done, okay? Jack is a young boy. He grew up training to finally face Aku, take down this great evil with his sword, and save his people. And then eventually, before the final blow was struck, he was thrown into the future, and that's the main story of Samurai Jack. Now, in the future that Jack lands up in, society has been changed. It's been manipulated. Aku reigns supreme, and what he says is law. So anything that goes on, Aku has demanded it. He controls everything. So society has been warped to focus on what Aku wants, his viewpoint of how how he wants the world to be shaped around. And so, when you look at it like this, with Aku's world and what everybody has been taught, obviously, someone like Jack would be, in this case, Aku, in what Jack's timeline was. See, if you go back in Season 1, Episode 1, Aku, evil, the shape-shifting god, and Jack trains to take him down. In the future, Aku's warped everyone, and it's his society, and the society thinks that Jack is the true evil. He needs to be taken down. So I find it very symbolic that you have it to where humanity is training to take down Jack throughout the first episode of Season 5. You see how they're raised from a very young age to take down this evil that is Jack. So I like that. I love the symbolism and parallels of these two things throughout episode 1 of Season 1 and then Season 5. But it doesn't just stop there. In episode 1 of Season 1, we have it to where Jack eventually, when he's there to take upon himself to meet his family and finally face up against Aku, he goes into this, like, monastery. He goes into where there's this altar and, like, this shrine. You see, like, monks and stuff. And he's there, he meets his family, he hugs them, and then he carries on to the destination to help his father and save everyone. And eventually, we know they succumb to death because Jack doesn't get to save them. And then he has PTSD in Season 5. So, Jack, he was in this monastery, this shrine. You see a very similar shape of, like, you know, how Aku was in Season 5, Episode 1. Remember, the entire focus when the daughters of Aku were getting training, you constantly saw, like, a big statue of Aku, like he was someone, like a shrine. He was a worship icon or something. And you see that exact same thing, but from Jack's family, like monks. So I once again love the correlation to those two scenes, but to show how society has just been changed and how society views Jack, similar to how, you know, they viewed Aku in the past, they now view Jack like they viewed Aku. So, once again, I feel like this is in a way to show how much the writer has matured as a person, but also to once again show nods of how much he has changed in terms of his writing, and also how much he hasn't changed. Because the first place I think to start after such a long wait of being able to write Samurai Jack again would probably be to start back at your first work of the series. And it's kind of like the writer was acknowledging everything that happened first, and was like, I haven't forgotten what this series is about, and I'm here to start it properly. But at the same time, when you see Season 5, Episode 1, you see how much darker it is. It's a very darker outlook on Samurai Jack. Probably one of the darkest episodes of Samurai Jack in general, because obviously it is on Adult Swim. And we gotta remember, when Samurai Jack was first airing, the first 4 seasons, it was on Cartoon Network, so it was restricted by a lot of things, because it had to stay in the guidelines of, you know, for children. But now that, you know, Samurai Jack is on Adult Swim, late at night, it can be more focused around adults. It has violence, gore, really crazy themes that, honestly, children normally wouldn't understand, or probably wouldn't even need to see in the first place, like PTSD or what we saw from Jack in the latest episode. It's like the writer is saying, I want to stick to what I used to do, my writing style of Samurai Jack for the first 4 seasons, but at the same time, I want to make it what I really wanted. I'm no longer bound by the restrictions of this just being a cartoon for kids. And I feel like that's what the message of Season 5, Episode 1 was. We'll stay true to what you all love, but we'll make it for you guys that are now adults. I feel like that's what that was for, especially when you see how drastic the tone is of the first episode of the series, and then now this latest episode that aired this weekend. So good stuff, very good stuff, very good message, I think, that, you know, Samurai Jack Season 5 was trying to convey to us as the audience, and I really love that. Very, very good way to start the new season, and I wonder how many actually noticed that. I'm very curious. If you noticed it, I tip my hat to you if I had a hat on, because honestly, I would not have remembered that if I didn't go back and watch the episodes of Samurai Jack before it aired, because a lot of my memories from Samurai Jack is a little bit fuzzy. I'm gonna be real, it's been over a decade since I've watched it, and I had to rewatch a couple of episodes and stuff to kind of get my overall, like, you know, feel for it again, but also, I had to go back and watch the 9 crucial episodes, because I saw an article on it, like, the 9 episodes you need to watch, and so I watched those ones I needed, and because of that, I was able to notice these things, like the symbolism and parallels, and I haven't seen the entirety of Samurai Jack again. I haven't seen all of season 1, 2, 3, or, you know, 4. I've seen like the episodes that were recommended you need to see again to have your memory refreshed. And obviously, if the series continues on, there might be other little crucial nods to other scenes throughout the series that honestly I have forgotten about. And I probably am going to have to rewatch the entirety of Samurai Jack once again just to understand some of the things that are probably going to happen in this final season of Samurai Jack Season 5. So yeah, once again, before I end this video, I love what I'm seeing so far from this. I love just the nods to the first time Samurai Jack aired, but to see how much it has grown and matured as a series, it really brings me back to my childhood, and nothing beats that. It really doesn't. Many could say it's just because of nostalgia and all that, but I really love this feeling. I love this feeling to see how a series that has so much meaning to me is getting so much respect. You didn't get that type of shit when, you know, Teen Titans Go came around. I thought, you know, we were going to get a nice, good continuation or something. That shit didn't happen. I was very disappointed and sad. And so I'm glad to see a series that was so well known, many loved the series way over a decade ago, is now getting so much respect. And just to see how they really are appreciating the fans and showing they love the fans, the original fan base of the series. So, I'm just happy. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How'd you feel about the latest episode of Samurai Jack? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'm extremely excited for the next episode. I really am. I'm probably going to have to rewatch the entirety of Samurai Jack again just to get my whole memory refreshed and see all the symbolism and parallels that we're probably going to get in Season 5, because since this is now a Adult Swim series, there's going to be adultish themes. There's going to be themes that, you know, you would never see in probably the original Samurai Jack. I mean, there was some mature stuff in Samurai Jack, but the way this is being structured now, it can focus more towards adults and then trying to be kid-friendly. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.